Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to the University of Strathclyde and the wonders of our Barony Hall. We use this hall for many functions, many conferences and events, but there's nothing better than having a graduation in this wonderful hall. And in the back of such trying times over the last 2 years for all of us, it's absolutely wonderful that you can be here today and celebrate with our students who are about to graduate and who have done so well against the backdrop of those difficult times. In a moment, I will call out the names of the graduands, and they will come forward on the stage where they'll be capped, and at the point of capping, formally, that's the point in time that their degree will be conferred. It's a tremendous achievement, it's a rite of passage, and a sign that you're part of a proud tradition at this university that dates back to 1796 when the university was founded, back to the time of the Enlightenment in Scotland. Once I've awarded the degrees, I will then take the opportunity to tell you a little about the university, our heritage, and our relevance, which I think is a very strong one, to society at the moment. Today is a day for celebration, and on that note, once the ceremony is over, you'll be invited to join with us at a reception in our new Learning and Teaching building. But before we actually begin, let me say this. Moments like this don't come across your desk that often in life. They're really special days. So don't be afraid to celebrate, and don't be afraid to applaud to a ridiculous degree when your loved ones walk across the stage. I now declare the ceremony open, and I will call upon the head of the law school, Professor Claire McDermott, to present the candidates for graduation.
Associate Principal, in the name of the University and by the authority of Senate, I present to you these students. For the degree of Master of Science in TESOL and Intercultural Communication, Abdul Rahman Al-Adam B. Al-Anazi. Bahia Mohammed A. Salul. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Childhood Practice, Nicola Elizabeth Allen. June Anderson Graham. Karen Louise Andrew. Marie Claire Barrowman. Amy Cassidy. Kimberly Chalmers. Naomi Louise Chalmers. Carly Elizabeth Chambers. Amy Clark. Rosina Baird Clark. Leanne Costello. Jade Nicole Coulter. Nicola Craig. Geraldine Devine. Samantha Young Duncan. Nicole Fox. Kirsty Glass. Louisa Glenn. Holly Rihanna Gorman. Lisa Rendell Graham. Roslyn Graham. Fiona Catherine Graham McElhoney. Chelsea Gray. Samantha Hamilton. Deborah Harty. Lynn Margaret Hetrick. Laura Jewell. Michelle Lamont. Hayley Lennon. Julie Ann Leonard. Lindsay Alexandra Logan. Sarah Logan. Lindsay Ann McAllister. Catherine MacDonald. Lindsay Marion MacDonald. Claire Jane McKee. Laura Mackey. Jennifer Annie Marshall. Kirsty McComb. Amanda McDade. Sharon McGreechan. Jamie Lee McKenna. Pamela McLaughlin. Elaine Caroline McLaughlin. Natalie Ann McLean. Lisa McMurray. Alison Miller. Laura Moon. Jeannie Nisbet. Audrey O'Hagan. Suzanne Margaret O'Lone. Adele O'Neill. Amy Prentice. Gillian Susan Rankin. Stacey Ann Riley. Jan Robinson. Deborah Scott. Linda Scott. In primary education, Lindsay Ann Miller. Zoe Devlin Most.
Let me welcome you once more to the hall. I hope you enjoyed the ceremony. Today, absolutely marvellous day. It represents the culmination of so much dedication and hard work. And ups and downs, let's be honest, all students face ups and downs. But now that everyone's graduated in front of family and friends and peers, let's all together express our congratulations and appreciation for our students. One of the most unfortunate aspects from a university point of view in the course of the pandemic was that we weren't able to hold events like this, but it's absolutely marvellous that we can properly celebrate our students' achievements again. At the end of this ceremony, our students who are now graduates of this university will be invited to join an academic procession when we leave the hall. And this symbolises that they're no longer students, but are now full members of our academic community at Strathclyde, which now numbers nearly 200,000 across the world. Many esteemed people have gone before, David Livingston, John Logie Baird, and in more recent years, people like Helen Liddell and Elise Angelini. From today, you take the first steps towards the next stages of your life, the next stages of realizing your dreams, ambitions, and aspirations. And if I were to give you any advice at all, I would say this: be yourself. Being yourself has got you so far, and it's worked out very well for you. Carry on being yourself. Always be able to look in the mirror. It's important that we acknowledge that getting here today is never easy, and it was particularly difficult during a pandemic. And I've got the utmost respect for our students who are able to do that in the most testing of times. I've also got the utmost respect for my colleagues who sit with me on the stage, who also had to face numerous challenges in the course of the pandemic. It's important at this time that we also acknowledge the wider challenges and recognize that today's graduates are graduating at a time when the world faces many very serious challenges, and challenges that at times seem absolutely daunting. The pandemic had far-reaching and unprecedented effects in all our lives. It's challenged our health systems, damaged and impacted on our economies, and it's also changed the way we work, perhaps sometimes for the better. But it's also demonstrated what society can achieve when we work together, and it's placed science and indeed the universities at the forefront of the challenges, at the solutions to the challenges we have been facing. It was science and it was universities that delivered the vaccines for COVID and have allowed us to return to something approaching a normal life, perhaps faster than at times we thought possible. It's also taught us many things about ourselves, and going back to our students, it's taught them just how resilient they actually are in the face of some very difficult challenges. And again, my colleagues, and I'm very proud of this, my colleagues have also shown tremendous resilience. Further challenges lie ahead of us in society. The city hosted COP26 recently, as we're all aware, a summit of world leaders and nations which came together to try and agree measures to prevent the terrible increase in warming of our planet, which, if we obviously, as we all know, if it goes unchecked, the consequences don't really bear thinking about. Various important pledges were made at that event, and it's up to all of us, not just graduates, but all of us as citizens, to ensure those promises are kept, and to push and agitate for further change, and to play our part in putting in place the scientific and social solutions which will make net zero actually happen. As a university community, we're very much aware of our responsibilities to reduce our impact on the planet, and we've set our own carbon emissions target and aim to reduce by 70% by 2025 and reach net zero at the latest by 2040. We also have to recognise that the challenges of the pandemic and climate change have exposed vulnerabilities and divisions in our society, weaknesses in our systems, and even on occasion seen the denial of science and expert knowledge. And in the face of all these things, it's up to all of us to try and do more and take the world into a better place. It helps to take the world into a better place if freedom of speech and freedom of opinion is welcomed. And we believe and very much hope that Strathclyde University is one where we hold values of tolerance and we're also very inclusive. A university which seeks to play a role in shaping the world we live in through our teaching, research, and our fantastic graduates. When COP26 was here, we were delighted that a very esteemed former US President, Barack Obama, came to us. And one of the most important aspects of that visit was that he wasn't interested in speaking to my generation, and rightly so. He was interested in speaking to our students, the leaders of tomorrow. And as he left, having met them all in our teaching and learning building, he paused on the steps, turned to say goodbye, and he said, by way of final encouragement to our students, get active. Two simple but very powerful words. And that's an appeal that students of our calibre can take inspiration from and actually, given their calibre and their ability, can undoubtedly act upon with a view to trying to make a difference in society. Graduates, given their knowledge, their talent, their skill, have a great opportunity to champion knowledge and also address injustice. What you've learnt, both in terms of knowledge and skills, but also what you've learned about your strengths and personal attributes, give you a great opportunity to go out into society and actually not only build your own career, but make a real difference for those around about you. I mentioned earlier that it's never easy acquiring a university degree. There's always ups and downs, and if you deny there's ups and downs, I probably wouldn't believe you. And in the course of all of that, all the people who have graduated today, all our students, have received the support and encouragement and love and friendship of family, friends, teachers and mentors. A number of those supporters are here today, and I'd like to invite our graduates of 20 minutes ago, I'd like to invite our graduates to acknowledge that support by a round of applause. I'd also like to, again, highlight the contribution always made by my colleagues, but that was particularly evident during the course of the pandemic. The university and the entire university sector was hugely challenged during this time. We had to equip ourselves to deliver online to a far greater extent than we normally do. We had numerous challenges round about the health and safety of our staff and our students. Many of us were able to work from home, but other members of staff that play a hugely valuable role in the university, security staff, cleaning staff, were often here right throughout the pandemic, despite the risks and the difficulties that they actually faced. So I'm extremely proud of all the staff at this university, ranging from our professors, including all our professional services and support staff. So they've played a huge part in allowing the graduation to take place today, the degrees to be awarded, and I'd like us to acknowledge them as well. We're a values-based university, and our values date back to our founder, Professor John Anderson. He founded the university as one of useful learning, and that plays out in modern language in terms of employability, and we've got a very good record there. But he also was a man who believed that universities were not just for the elite. Universities should be, and he was absolutely right about this, universities should be inclusive. And we recognise that nowadays in the form of initiatives around about widening participation and widening access. Of all the research-intensive universities in Scotland, we have the best record on that front. We're very proud of that. And in the year we've just recruited to, we've met all our targets for recruiting students from the most challenged areas of the country in terms of socio-economic deprivation. At the same time, we're recruiting tremendously talented students because our entrance requirements are some of the highest in the UK. Our ethos of useful learning, as I mentioned, continues to be relevant. It's very important to us that our graduates are as employable as possible. We're also anxious that our research makes a difference to society and that we have impact. We're not simply interested in adding scholarly papers into the library. We want to see our work actually making a difference to people's lives. So, our scientists and researchers here, for example, have developed innovative technologies that will help the transition from fossil fuels to a cleaner, more sustainable energy source, such as wind, solar, and hydrogen. We do a lot of work with our colleagues in science in terms of developing new drugs that will fight against a variety of diseases, and not simply ones prevalent in the UK, but also ones which are prevalent in countries such as Africa. We are doing our utmost to engage more effectively with the wider community, and we're part of a tremendously exciting initiative to try and revitalise this part of the city through the Glasgow City Innovation District. And we aim to attract companies both large and small to work with us to create new businesses, new technologies in a whole bunch of areas such as health tech and fintech, 5G, that will move our economy and our society on. We're very much involved in public policy matters, informing the development of economic strategy and education strategy in Scotland and the wider UK. And we do all this in partnership. We do it in partnership with business, government, and the third sector. What makes universities, though, are our students. And we have been doing our utmost to enhance the student experience. Some of you will have come across our new sports centre, where the facilities are absolutely first rate. And you'll see for yourselves very shortly our new teaching and learning building, which I very much hope and believe is actually enhancing the student experience a great deal. We have won numerous awards in recent years recognising how well this university is doing. We're the only university to have won the Times Higher Education UK University of the Year award twice, having won this for the second time in 2019. All our faculties have fantastic achievements, and I'm only going to mention one from my own faculty, and I want to highlight the outstanding quality of the work of Professor Claire McDermott, who sits to my right. Several years ago, I was approached by Lord Pentland, one of Scotland's most senior judges, and at that time he was the chair of the Scottish Law Commission, and the Law Commission was challenged by trying to modernise the law of homicide in Scotland. And he came to me and he said, would there be a possibility of seconding Professor McDermott to the Commission to help them in this work? And it all went ahead, and I think it's a tremendous tribute to an extremely busy and successful head of school that she was able to take time out to do that. But I think that's typical of Strathclyde, where we're trying to do our best for the wider community. But today is not about members of staff, it is about our graduates. Enjoy the rest of your day. What you've done and what you've achieved is something to be immensely proud of. I don't believe in people being arrogant but just for one day, you can be arrogant. Just for one day, enjoy it. I think hangovers are often a somewhat underrated experience, so I would urge you in your celebrations after this to really go for it. Again, it's only one day. Today's a day for celebration. You've done marvellously well. We're very proud of our graduates, and I very much hope you enjoy the rest of your day celebrating with family and friends and your loved ones. I wish you every success for the future, and I hope that you will be able to look back on Strathclyde as a place that played an important part in your development and the building of your career. Thank you. I now declare the ceremony closed, and let me just explain what happens next. The academic procession will leave the hall, and I would like to invite our new graduates to join that academic procession as we make our way up to the reception in the Teaching and Learning building. If I may, I'd like family and friends to wait in the hall until all the graduates have left, and then join the procession and join the reception. So, as we close the ceremony, if you're able to do so, could I ask that you stand again, please?